Hello there. So for today's unit, we are going to cover format and design choices for when you actually go into your platform and start to think more about how to organize and make your poster session visually appealing. So I know we're doing a lot of technical and background information. This is the last module. There will only be one more presentation until we actually get into more information about the platforms. So if you're anxious to design, you can definitely move ahead to the subunit 3. There is a presentation that will be called Platforms for Design. You can move forward with that one if you are anxious to get started on designing. And if not, then just hang tight and we will get there very, very, very shortly. So the first thing that I want you to think about is, as in this image off to the side, is that you need to start to think about formatting now, because it will make it easier when you get to your actual design platform. So some reminders again, there's the 300 to 600 word text limit. I much prefer shorter sentences and bullet points. I'm pretty sure throughout all the presentations and lectures for this course, you will see about 3 or 4 examples where bullet points just work a lot better than those big chunks of text. You also want to condense information into shorter sentences. You don't want a huge block of text. Think about it like an email. So as a student success support staff member, just as a staff member in general, I guess you could say too, I don't ever want to send students like an essay of an email because I'm scared that they won't read it. So same thing with your poster session. Think about if you have an overwhelming, ginormous amount of text, no one's going to read what you have to say because it just is too much. I know soon we will discuss too that PowerPoint is a very popular option for poster sessions. There will also be a lot of templates for you in PowerPoint. Just a general note with formatting, you only will use one slide. So you're not making a PowerPoint presentation to present to people. You're making a digital poster, which is all in one space, slide, whatever you want to call it. So I really like this phrasing that I found from a source. A well-constructed digital poster session is self-explanatory, achieving both coverage and clarity. So you look at the poster session and you explain it without needing to know more background information. So I think that this is really important to consider when you start to think more about your audience, is that you have to make it self-explanatory towards your type of audience. So if you're talking about nuclear physics, no one in the CBE program or at Lord's University is going to understand that. So you have to use more generic terms to reach your targeted audience. Again, one slide, one page. And then when you go to present someday, which I'm sure you will, you can even find somewhere maybe to present your digital poster session from this class. Make sure that you bring business cards with you. It's kind of a random side note, but it's important. So layout and formatting. How you arrange your digital poster session affects your audience's comprehension and interest in your work. So we will review more examples. If your digital poster session is not visually appealing, it might instantly turn viewers off to your poster session. Same thing if we've been talking a lot about the text limits for this digital poster session. So let's say you have a poster session with 350 words of text, 4 graphics, and it has a very well color scheme and organization. It's going to be very visually appealing, inviting, and welcoming to look at. But let's compare this to a digital poster session that has 800 words on it, 7 graphics, and uses 8 different colors. It's going to be an instant turnoff to your eyes, and you are not going to be able to very easily comprehend that amount of information in that poster session. So a poster that has too much text is too cluttered, just has too much going on, or a small font. Maybe you have regular academic sized paragraphs instead of bullet points or shorter sentences. That will also really turn your viewers off. So viewers are interested in poster sessions that have large headings to announce topics, graphics and text that work together, and white space. So today we will talk about those three things and how to make it a little bit more clear for your own poster session. I really like this text example or the graphics example that we'll get to in a minute. So you must make your text readable from a distance. Your viewers should not have to stand 3 inches away from your poster to read it. You should be able to stand at an appropriate space, let's say 4 to 6 feet now, and be able to see some of the things on the poster. So you should use at least 36-point font for your text and 48-point font for titles and headings. This might work out a little bit differently when you actually start to get to formatting, but just make sure that your text isn't super, super tiny. So like the example to the right, it's really, really stressful on the eyes to read that. So you really want to avoid using fancy scripts and text that are difficult to read. And do not use more than one font style. And avoid using capital letters. Just a side note of professionalism. If you use capital letters in the workplace or in academia, or maybe even in an email, people kind of take it that you're shouting. So just try to really avoid that altogether in general. So the font size and lettering, try to put a little bit of space, maybe not double, but maybe 1.5 between your text, just because, again, that will make it easier on the eyes. We already talked about the minimum font sizes for sections. Supporting text should be at least 24-point font. If you have headings, it should obviously be bigger than that. Again, don't use any crazy fonts. The most common fonts I listed here. I'm pretty sure if you are taking the 300 level course, you should know appropriate fonts by now. So I'm not really going to cover that in detail. I also really like this example, the easy to read, hard to read, and then hurts to read. So yes, it may be close to Christmas, but that looks awful together in a visual presentation. So here's some advice for you. When using color, consider the overall impression your poster makes. You might consider using warm colors such as red, orange, or yellow. And then do not use more than, I'd say, 4 colors total on your whole digital poster session. Just once again to make sure that you're making it inviting, welcoming, and that it doesn't just turn out to be a cluster of material. So, colors and white space. So, the first thing that we're going to talk about is a color scheme. Once again, no more than 4 colors. If you want to look into a website that has really awesome color schemes, I included the URL here. And then there's also a QR code that you can scan on your phone. So if you just hold up your camera to it, your phone will take you automatically to this website. And this just may help you pick out a color scheme. Also remember, in programs that you're designing in, there's probably color schemes in there. You can go to design and there's already different color schemes made out for you. I'll give you just like 15 seconds in case you want to grab that QR code real quick. So this example is painful. Yes, it is Star Wars. Yes, it is a really cute topic, pigs in space. Yes, it has a lot of creativity to it, but there's several problems with this. So I want you to think of problems with this, maybe for a minute, and then we'll come back together and discuss them. So, obviously this just has way too much going on. This would definitely be over the 300 to 600 word text limit. So first of all, the text just makes it uninviting. Second of all, everything that's going on with the background, with the 8 different colors, with the shading, with the small font, just is really too much. I would recommend maybe more graphics that actually work with this poster. I don't know what the weight scale with the little mouse looking thing on it has to do with any of this. So maybe a diagram or something actually related to the work. Another thing is that poster assessments usually do not want abstracts. And the other thing is that there is no white space. And this is just very, very hard on the eyes. So do not make yours have this much information in it. Sometimes less is more, and this is definitely an example where that is not true. So the importance of white space. As you plan your digital poster session, be sure to leave ample white space. The previous digital poster session clearly did not have enough white space. Your audience will appreciate white space because it declutters your presentation, and again, it is easier on the eyes. So an important rule of thumb I'm going to give you is to try to keep 40% of the area of your poster free of text and images. If you look at this one, it's about 95%. It's just jammed with information. So try about 40%. As long as you don't have as much as that last example, you should be okay. So benefits of white space: it fills the borders, it keeps things from separate, and it kind of helps the eyes flow through material a little bit better. It can help to keep things together. It can be used to focus your viewers' attention. And once again, it just helps the eyes. So formatting tips again, less is more. We've all seen gaudy Christmas yards with decorations before. Remember that when you design your poster presentation, that nobody is appealed by more all the time. Be clear and concise with your poster design and content. Overcrowding a poster can make it difficult for viewers to comprehend that information that you are presenting. Another big tip too is you always want to make sure that you include the title and your name, and then maybe the university under it too. So you'll see on this one, so yes, this one may look a little bit more boring, but it has a lot more white space. The diagrams work with it. Your eyes flow better throughout it. And there are clear labels so you know where you are going next. So this one, compared to the last example that we did, is a lot better. I'll zoom in on this one just so you guys can review it just for another minute before I move on. So compare this one to the last one that we looked at. Obviously, it is drastically different. And it's much easier on your eyes to comprehend that amount of information. So I just have a final few tips for you. So make sure that you pick appropriate color contrasting. Only use high quality graphics and charts. A big thing for graphics is don't right click and copy. Actually save the image to the computer you're working on and then do the insert image, just because you usually have a clearer image doing it that way. Avoid hyperlinks too. No one's going to copy down a hyperlink on your poster session. Make sure they use a QR code. And here's an easy QR code website to make them. So no one, if you are presenting at a conference, is going to take something out of their pocket and write down a URL. So it is 2020. QR codes are very easy for your viewers to scan that information, and then you'll be able to move on. Here's another example that I really like. We're going to talk about benefits. In the next slide, I have a few things I think could be better with this one. So again, everything flows from top to bottom, left to right. It is very well divided. There's the title, there's the name, there's the university. It has all the main sections. And this one is just very simple and easy to look at. So if you use this template, this is a template just to start to get working on. I would suggest that you do not do paragraph text formatting like this. use bullet points or very short sentences instead, so that your viewers are able to take in your information a little bit easier, and it's a little bit easier on the eyes too. And then there also needs to be more white space and maybe a graphic or two on this one. So maybe, I don't think that no one wants to read, a fourth of your poster should not be about methods. That's way too long. So maybe if you made this half the space, put a graphic here, made this half and put a graphic here, and then just made some more white space in this, it would be more visually appealing. So again, we are just lightly skimming formatting and color scheme and design choices. If you have any questions, make sure that you reach out, and I look forward to working with you more on this assignment. Thank you.